Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm your host, Mae.
And I'm Laura. What are we talking about today?
Oh boy. Okay, so you might have seen this all over your social media. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is recently out of prison. And you might be like, who the fuck is that? Why does everyone care about her?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure who she is.
Yeah, so Laura
I have seen the
know.
memes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the batshit story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother, Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard. How is this about business, you might say? How does this have anything to do with business? Just shut up and enjoy the podcast, okay?
I'm sure they have money, okay? I'm sure they have bank accounts somewhere. So,
well, listen, she gets into some crafty stuff about how to get some money, so there's the connection. Are you happy now?
Hell yes.
You guys will like this one. It's really fun.
All right, enjoy.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold on.
From that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's risque business news.
All right, Laura, is there aliens in Miami or like what's up?
Yes. Oh my God, guys, today is quite the day. First of all, happy January 6th.
Yes, happy January 6th to those who celebrate. Yeah.
We are recording this episode on January 6th. It'll probably come out a little bit after. Tell us about your celebrations, how you just really commemorated one of the more wild times. It felt apropos that on January 5th, there was this big story that I don't think there's any news articles on it. It was just Twitter, now X, going off. And I sent it to Mae, where there was apparently this like massive event at one of the Miami malls.
Yeah.
And there was all these police officers there. Did you saw it?
I did see. There was like literally like 300 police officers, genuinely. And then they shut off all electricity within a 3-mile radius.
3-mile radius. Yeah. So I'll put this on the YouTube. So if you're watching the YouTube, you can see there's like, in this shot alone, probably like 15 different cop cars, and it keeps going. Like
at least.
So yeah, there's at this 50, maybe 100. That's at least 100 cop cars. All with there's like lights on and stuff like that outside the Miami Mall. So all is well, right? You assume that it's Miami.
All is well.
There's some shenanigans.
I wouldn't assume that at all.
I assuming, okay, there's some sort of like big fucking emergency. But here is what Miami then said was happening. And this is when it gets weird. Because like, all right, maybe like a gas main or like
a bomb threat.
Like, unfortunately, like something like, we've had emergencies. They said it was some teenagers like fighting.
Yeah.
And then a video goes around of what people had seen there. And of course, it's like the grainiest video ever.
Obviously.
But you can see, where'd it go? Oh, there's this like gray, tall figure, what looks like walking around. Now, I gotta say, I don't know. And all of Twitter goes off and is like, I think there are aliens walking around the Miami Mall. And people go nuts over it.
Allegedly, there were some eyewitnesses as well that saw 11-foot tall beings, gray beings, because of course they look like the aliens from the movies, walking around the mall in Miami. But I'm sorry, teenagers fighting is not a satisfactory.
It's really not. I need to understand like what were these teenagers fighting about? Like, was like, what could possibly...
Were the sticks in the... Because they said teenagers fighting with sticks, specifically. So I was like, were the sticks shaped like AK-47s? Like,
Jenny, like, was it nuclear bombs? Like, this is like the reaction I would assume if there was a war.
Yeah.
We'd have that level.
Yeah.
Someone says, notice there is a spotlight on whatever is walking along the stairs slowly. This also tracks with the eyewitness report of a tall being that walks very slowly and glides rather than taking steps. We have aliens. I'm sorry.
Have aliens. They're in Miami.
I'm choosing to believe, rather than teenagers with sticks, I'm believing aliens that are cruising around the Miami Mall trying to get a deal.
They're trying to get a deal. They're trying to get a pina colada. Yeah. Okay, they heard it was fun. They want to go to the beach with their friends. They want to clap some ass. Yeah. Okay, twerk a little bit.
They're here to party. It's cold on Mars.
They're like, fuck, I don't have a swimsuit. I have to go to the I have to go to the mall.
How am I going to look hot at Live later on?
So we need to go to 11. And it's like, Alien, you don't need any clothes to go to 11. You
No,
silly
we've got a table later on, but I don't think they're gonna let us in because we're 8 feet tall.
in gray. So, that is really freaky though. And you know what's fucked up is we'll never know what that police response was. And another detail of that really gives me the Jeepers Creepers is that they didn't allow any of the police to use their walkie-talkies because they didn't want people intercepting and hearing what it was. Do you know this detail?
No.
Mark told me this detail. He probably got it from X, which is I mean,
people were going off on X. It was great.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Between that and that freaking Harvard president, like X has been a delight. I'm enjoying it. I do not X, or I don't Zeet or whatever you want to call it.
Zeet? Is that what they call it?
I don't know. I'm making that up a little bit.
Okay.
But tweet to X would be Zeet, right?
I guess,
X-eat.
yeah. Zeet. Yeah. How do you pronounce
Either way, I'm
that?
not doing that. That is disgusting. I'm not going to do that. But I will listen to other people's Zeets.
You know what has become the old Twitter is Threads. Fuck
Yeah.
Threads.
I hate it.
It's horrible. I saw Matt Ruby posted something and he was like, hey, Threads, can you stop recommending for me people with 0 followers and 0 posts saying like it'll be like just like them like burning Jewish stuff.
What's up
and
with
he's like,
that?
I can assure you it's not for me. Okay. Please, this is not, the algorithm is not algorithming.
Your algorithm is like,
this is for me.
Would you like some hate crimes?
Yeah. He's like,
we saw your lack of activity. We thought this guy fucking needs a little bit of hatred on the timeline.
No, thank you. We're all set.
Well, I gotta say, as much as Elon is like a basket case and all of that, and there's certainly problematic components, it's a fucking party over on X right now. There's
check it out.
aliens and there's Claudine Gay, and then Bill Ackman is like fighting with the entire Harvard board. We should probably do a full story. It's going on right now.
Okay.
This whole thing where he's
Next
like,
week. We'll
maybe it'll evolve it up. Like we can at least like cover it a little bit, but it's been like it's been a joy to watch. I was flying back and I was just like on it the whole time, just being like, what are people all pissy about? But then there's also a lot of hate speech on X too. I gotta say, it's very Republican right now.
Oh boy. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So aliens in Miami. There's that. If you're in Miami, watch out for the aliens. Okay. So
if you saw them, please.
Oh, please let us know.
Let us know. Call a
Um.
girl.
Okay. So we wanted to discuss today Gypsy Rose. So you know nothing about this story.
Zero.
You know zero.
I know there was a murder. I actually don't know who murdered who. I assume Gypsy was involved because she was in prison.
Yeah.
Also, I know her name. We're not allowed to say Gypsy anymore. So hell of a name.
Oh yeah. Are we not allowed to really?
Well, I think it's one of those ones where like Gypsy is what's the real group called?
Well, I think that they're people from Romania, but they're called, I think,
Romanians,
but like gypsies are people that steal. Sorry.
I mean, clearly we can say Gypsy because we're saying it like I just said it like 15 times in
it's
a row.
her fucking name, okay? Whatever.
It is her name, yeah. But hell of a name. It'd be like if you I'm not gonna give another example because I'll get canceled, but like,
hey, N-word.
Imagine
Right.
your first name is you're like, my parents were eclectic.
Yeah. Well, I had a client once whose name was very close to the N-word, and I was like, hey, I'm Mae. If you want to like tell me a little bit about your title, because I wanted her to say it so I could like know how she pronounced it.
Yeah,
and she was like, yeah, I'm the marketing director. And I was like, God damn it. I was like, come on, dude, you're killing me here. And so she's literally a client of mine. I've never once said her first name.
No, you've evolved like so much.
I'm not even gonna try. No way.
You're calling her Ms. whatever her last name is. You're like, I'm going full formal with this lady.
I'm going like Congresswoman on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the craziest story. So you're correct. There was a murder. So if you guys haven't heard, Gypsy Rose was a teenager who she basically got the help of a man that she found online. We're going to get more into him later, to come and murder her mother so that she could break away from her mother. Mm-hmm. So at surface level, you might be thinking, what a fucking psychopath. When you hear the details of this case and her life and all this, you might think something else.
Okay.
So this is Gypsy and her mother, Claudine, or she goes by Dee Dee. So
Where
that's
is she
how I
from?
refer. So originally, originally they are from Slidell, Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
So that is about like 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from New Orleans. And that's actually really important because they moved to Missouri later on in the story, I think when Gypsy is somewhere around like 11 or so. And a lot of doctors in this story don't have her medical records because of Hurricane Katrina. So the mother is saying she lost all these medical records because of Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
So they moved from Slidell to Missouri at one point, but most of their life they're in Slidell. So I'm going to get into Dee Dee first. So who is this woman? Whatever. So she's originally from Louisiana. Her name is Claudine, but people call her Dee Dee. She used to be a beauty queen, which is very interesting.
That's Louisiana.
That's Louisiana.
If you're just listening to the pod, Dee Dee, I'm sure she's lovely. Was lovely.
No, she was not. But
okay, then fuck her. But she is heavier set and just overall her face is not very attractive.
You wouldn't...
Traditionally attractive, I'm sorry.
When you think beauty queen, you would not associate her with that.
No.
Okay. So she also worked as a nurse's aide, which is interesting as well. So she had a little bit of a medical background. She knew a little bit about that.
Okay.
So she was estranged from her family at the time of her death. Her father, Claude Petrie, which can you come up with a more Louisiana name?
Yeah, that is awesome.
And Claude Petrie.
Petrie.
And they have the most like Bayou accent ever too. I've watched a few
awesome.
documentaries. It's amazing.
We can like barely understand what they're saying.
Yeah. So as a little foreshadowing, he says in a documentary, he says that she got what she deserved and reveals that he had received her ashes and flushed them down the toilet.
Oh my God.
That's her own father.
Wow. Okay, so she sucks.
Yeah.
And she's not pretty either.
She's not pretty. So, as like as a young adult, Dee Dee had been writing bad checks. She had done credit card fraud. She had
business.
Yeah, business. There you go. And also her mother had died, and people had said they had been like, so she had been caring for her mother at the time of her death. So this is Gypsy's mom's mom. So Gypsy's grandma.
Okay.
And Gypsy's mother had been caring for her mother at the time of her mother's death. And people are saying now that they think Dee Dee had killed her through slow starvation.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Very dark.
So her mom was sick before then? Like, do we
Yeah.
know what like just general illness?
She was just like bedridden and old,
Oh my
and she was in charge of like getting her meals and stuff, and she would just not feed her. And she fucking died.
Wow. That's such a fucked up way. I mean, obviously you don't want to kill anyone in any way, but that way specifically, like, holy shit, no thank you.
But
also, like, I mean, old people don't eat that much as it is.
I know.
Jesus. What are you kidding me? They're like 3 peas and you're like full.
They eat like birds.
Right. You're really not feeding that lady.
Yeah. So apparently like this type of like this crazy way that they are, according to Dee Dee's ex-husband, he said that Dee Dee's mom was kind of like her as well. She was a shoplifter. She had to go to court for a lot of things. Like they're just like a family of grifting and liars and sociopaths, basically. Okay. Yeah. So
but they never went to she had to go to court, but she never like really got like jail time or anything like that.
No, it was all just alleged.
Okay.
Which is pretty fucking crazy. So let's skip ahead. So now Dee Dee is 24 years old. She gets pregnant with Gypsy at this time, and she marries the father, because it's Louisiana, and they're like, we got you pregnant.
Rules
we have to
is
get
rules,
married.
yeah.
Rules is rules. The father at the time of her pregnancy was 17 years old, which is fucking weird.
Yeah. 20. So she was 24.
She was 24. He was 17. This guy, Rod
He must
Blanchard.
have initially been hyped, and then he's like, fuck.
I know.
Oh, no.
I know.
I'm gonna lose my virginity.
Oh, she's pregnant. And she's nuts.
Like scary nuts.
Scary nuts. So it's this guy, Rod Blanchard, and I've seen him in a lot of interviews, and he's like not the worst looking guy, and
really?
like seems like pretty fucking normal, which is crazy. So they got married and divorced like pretty soon after that, because he says in the documentaries, he's like, I just looked around at my life and was like, no.
Unsubscribe.
Like genuinely was like, can't do it.
Yeah.
He said that early on in the romance that Dee Dee was into, quote, dark things, including witchcraft, which I'm like, okay, well,
yeah,
whatever. witchcraft.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like petty crime. That's
Who
what she's
cares?
into. She's blaming it on witchcraft.
So after they divorced, because he was like, I gotta get out of here. This woman's fucking batshit crazy. He also says in the documentary, he's like, when they had Gypsy, she was perfectly healthy. The doctors were like, it's a perfectly healthy, beautiful young woman.
Okay.
Young woman, baby.
Yeah.
And
they age quickly in Louisiana.
yeah, right. She's like almost ready. I'm just joking. That's disgusting. Okay. So after that, they go. So Dee Dee and Gypsy, now divorced from Dee Dee's father, they're like, okay, we're gonna go live with Claude and the stepmom Laura.
Okay.
In Louisiana.
Great name.
So there, Dee Dee started doing all the cooking for her stepmother, Laura.
Okay.
And Laura became violently ill. And she stayed violently ill for the 9 months that Dee Dee was living with them. Like the whole time.
Oh my God. Maybe she was a witch or just, just straight up poisoning her.
Well, then basically Dee Dee was called out later on by Laura where she was like, I think you're poisoning me. I think you're putting like rat poison in my food or something like that. Dee Dee like flips out, leaves the house. Immediately Laura's better. So she was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, maybe like someone else take charge of the cooking.
Yeah.
I will say that if I kept getting violently ill after 3 days, I would be like, I think I'm going to start not just be like, you continue to be in charge of dinner time. Like I'll take that one on.
Right. I think maybe I'm just going to have some cereal for a bit.
Yeah. I think I'll maybe get some McDonald's on the way home.
Or like, I don't know, a protein bar.
Yeah.
Something packaged.
Genuinely anything else.
Something like that.
Maybe a Hot Pocket. Like,
yeah.
Really whatever.
Anything but the gumbo that this fucking psycho was putting rodenticide or whatever the fuck in. So
I do love gumbo though. She's
pretty
probably like,
crazy.
I mean, it's just so good. Like it's kind of worth it, you know?
She's just an unbelievable cook.
She's just so good. Like it's, I don't know.
So at that point, when they move out, they just become estranged from their family because they realize that Dee Dee is, I mean, they've known Dee Dee is crazy, but now she's like really crossed a line.
No, that's a really, like, you know, those Reddit things, those like, am I the asshole? In this case, not the asshole. You can cut your family off if they've been poisoning you for 9 months. Like, sorry, girl, you're on your own.
Yep.
But then, so the kid is now solo with the mom.
Solo with the mom, yes.
Gypsy, the child, is with, what's her face? What's her name again?
Dee Dee.
Okay.
So, Gypsy, when she was a baby, Dee Dee, even though Rod, the father, was saying, like, everybody said, like, there's nothing wrong with her. It's a perfectly healthy baby. The doctors all agreed. Dee Dee was like, no, she has sleep apnea. So this started even as, like, a little baby. So she starts then saying that like insisting Gypsy has sleep apnea and that she needs help.
Have you ever like spent time with someone with the sleep apnea masks?
No. They're really intense.
Oh my God. I was on a swim, like away for a swim meet or whatever, rooming with this girl who was lovely, but she had the sleep apnea mask.
Yeah.
She's very fast swimmer, so it obviously like worked. She like was doing really well.
Yeah.
She fucking sounded like Darth Vader at night. I kid you not. And we were in Russia and I'm sleeping with this girl with the Darth Vader mask. It was dark about 5 hours a night. I was just like, oh, this is I can't get a wink of sleep over here.
So, okay, I want to get Mark one of those because I don't know what's worse, the sleep apnea mask or his snoring.
Oh.
It's like crazy.
Get him an Aura ring so you can tell if he has sleep apnea. Because basically,
definitely has sleep apnea.
He does?
Well, I think so because he stops breathing.
Oh, well, yeah, that's it.
For like 5 seconds, and I'd be like, it's crazy. I hate it. I want to punch him.
You're not going to like the sleep apnea mask. Let me tell you that. Option 2, like he'll sleep better, but you're going to sleep like shit.
I already sleep like shit. He's like sawing logs. And he said to me before, he's like, I don't want to wear the sleep apnea mask because I don't want to feel like an old man. And I was like, I don't care.
You'll feel like a Star Wars character, not an old man.
Okay, so the sleep apnea thing was the first in a million of fake diseases that Dee Dee put onto Gypsy. So for over 2 decades, Gypsy was a victim of child abuse by her mother. Her mother basically had this mental disorder called Munchausen by proxy. Mm-hmm. Do you know this?
Yes.
So if you don't know this, you probably do. Real Housewives actually had a big thing about it because people were saying one of the housewives had it because actually Bella Hadid and what's the other one's name? Gigi Hadid. they both claim to have Lyme disease or whatever, and people say that their mother has Munchausen by proxy.
And has convinced them that they have Lyme disease? Oh my God.
Because the mother was convinced she had Lyme disease, and she was like laying in bed for like 8 months. It was like a really weird situation.
Maybe she had it.
Whatever.
But no, I know. Munchausen's is like, I feel like that's hit the media quite a bit.
Yeah, people are like very aware of it now. So, anyway, it's a rare form of abuse that results in a guardian feigning or forcing illness in their child for attention, sympathy, and sometimes money. So, pretty crazy.
How does the money come into play?
Taking donations from people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Which is
because I was
crazy.
like, usually you have to pay when you're sick.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's kind of.
But like, so Gypsy's mom was on all of these, like, you know, like food stamps, welfare. They had their new house when they moved to Missouri. They paid for it by Habitat for Humanity and like stuff like that. So they had like a lot of these government
assistance.
funds. Yeah. So a lot of I think maybe all of the medical procedures they got were covered by some sort of government grant or something like that. So then she was just pocketing the money that they would receive from
so then that's even
of others.
So I would even argue that that's more than Munchausen's by proxy. It's almost like she kind of knows, but like she's taking advantage. She's pretending. She's a fraud. She's scamming.
She's a scammer.
She's just scamming. You know,
it's so
like
bad.
I'm sure at her heart she's like, this fucking kid's fine.
Yeah. Of course. I mean,
you
she
know?
was fine.
Versus like at least the perception I had on Munchausen's is like the mother or father. I don't know. Does always mothers that get it? Whatever.
Caregiver.
But like the caregiver genuinely thinks they're sick. Like believes that because they are sick versus just like, oh, I can like use this to my advantage.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Okay, so later on, so like when Gypsy's around like 7 or 8 or whatever, she starts saying that her daughter had leukemia, muscular dystrophy, seizures, asthma, hearing and visual disabilities.
But all of those are so like easy to verify.
Well, you know,
you have leukemia, dude.
I know. And then so
the doctor's like, she's good.
So she starts shaving Gypsy's head to make it more believable and forcing her to use a wheelchair.
Oh my God.
100% of the time. And there's all these like, so Gypsy knows she can walk. I think her mother knows also that she can walk. And there's all these video footages of like them out at places and like they'll be holding hands and you can see like if something comes up, she'll squeeze Gypsy's hand, basically be like, shut up and keep going with this ruse. And they never left her side. Like Dee Dee would never leave her alone ever. Like they interview a bunch of the neighbors and stuff and people were around Gypsy's age and Dee Dee had told everyone that Gypsy had a learning brain of about 7 years old, even though she was like 15 or 16. She even like forged some documents, like some of her birth certificates to make her seem younger than she was. And so people thought that she was mentally handicapped because Dee Dee wanted to make it seem like that. And she would never leave her alone ever for 1 second.
Wait, that sucks.
Yeah.
That is insane. But how old was she about this time? I guess over the period of 2 decades. But like, how do you get confidence? Or like, I mean,
you don't.
Yeah,
she has absolutely no.
That's
autonomy whatsoever.
Very clear-cut child abuse.
Yeah, like extreme child abuse.
That sucks.
And meanwhile, she's getting all this sympathy from the community. That like people talk about like tip jars that were in every coffee shop. Like, oh,
for
please
her,
help. Yeah, please help this little girl. And like everyone thought that Dee Dee was this saint that had this disabled daughter and like spent her whole life caring for this disabled daughter. Mm-hmm.
And so Gypsy was aware and just kind of like was weirdly forced into this lie. And then, oh my God.
I know. It's like the saddest thing ever. One of the worst details of this is that Dee Dee had Gypsy on a feeding tube.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Those are like feeding. Those go into, that's like a very serious. Well, have you seen, did you see Saltburn?
Yes. Oh my God. At the end when he rips it apart.
Yeah, no, I mean, this isn't exactly a spoiler, but at the end he is on top of like, we won't say whose body, who's on a feeding tube. And he grabs the feeding tube and rips it out. And it's so dramatic.
It's so disgusting.
It is not medically how you're supposed to remove a feeding tube.
What did you think of that movie?
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Stunning.
It was fun.
And I was entertained the whole time. Like I was like not bored. Let me tell you that.
Sure.
I thought that it was going after shock factor for the sake of shock factor rather than actually having that serve the plot.
I agree. Like a lot of the movie, I was like, if it weren't for the, crazy sex scenes and stuff like that, I'm like, this is just like a boring movie.
There wasn't
not a boring movie, but there's not a lot happening. And also like Jacob Elordi's character, we like barely got to know him.
He was such a good God. Jacob Elordi thank God he was in there because he did such a good job of just being stunning.
He's so fucking hot.
I think he's like,
Sorry,
he's
I got really passionate.
No. I think everybody's like, I think we watched that and we were just like, oh, you're our guy. Like you're our generation's, like, I don't even know, Brad Pitt or whatever.
He's the hottest
like,
person ever.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to do, I'll be there going forward. I love you. Good job.
I love thinking about him getting discovered where he's just like this Australian guy and he's like, hey, this is what I look like. And everyone's like, okay, you're hired.
We love it. We love it. More carry
More
on.
Of this. Come in.
He's very, very, and he did a really good job. I think he like really brought it for an interesting role that like they just like set everything up in a really fun way and then didn't execute on it. I was like, there wasn't like a culmination. We never figured out the reason for this like very erratic behavior. I don't want to spoil the movie, but like there's a strange twist in the middle of it, which I didn't see coming because I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah, me neither. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But then it didn't make sense. I was like, why though? And they never explained that.
Well, also there's a lot of dick in the movie.
There's a
lot of dick in the movie, and I think it's like dick is the new boobs. Yes. Because like in the 90s, it'd be like, oh my God, you get to see this actress's boobs in this movie. And now it's like everyone knows what that actor, Barry Cogan or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what his dick looks like. So that's fun.
And weird too. Like not like it wasn't like a sex scene. It's like him just kind of waltzing around.
Yeah.
Which is a weird way to see a stranger's dick, And you're like,
well, seeing it hard would be
it's
insane.
Porn. I think we're more used to like seeing people in porn, you know?
True.
I don't know. For some reason, seeing the flaccid, I was like, it's weird.
This is intimate.
This feels inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's between you and God. Like,
okay, so back to the feeding tube. So if you're not familiar with feeding tubes, I mean, she was on a feeding tube for a decade plus, which is insane. And a feeding tube needs to be changed once every 6 months, by the way.
How did that work?
It was in this way. It wasn't in her mouth. It was in this way.
Okay, because I was like, what?
They don't put you under anesthesia. They just take it out and put in a new one. Very painful, horrible. You're not supposed to be on a feeding tube for more than like a few days after a surgery.
How did they convince the doc, or did her mom do it because she was the nurse's aide?
No, they did it through doctors.
They need to get some medical licenses suspended here.
Yeah, I know. So basically, I actually looked this up and that somebody talked about it on Reddit, where I was like, how the fuck did she get these doctors to operate? And a lot of it was because, like I said, Hurricane Katrina, but also she was just extremely demanding. So she would go into like, there was like, I think they went into over 100 hospitals or something like that, something crazy. And she would be like, this is like, I know my daughter's past history, this, and this. And if you're not willing to do it, I'll find someone else who will. And doctors, I guess, are like scared to not treat things. I don't fucking know. But
I guess there's liability if you like refuse treatment and then it ends up being. It's interesting because this feels like the flip case of, what was that other story?
Take Care of Maya.
Yeah.
It does.
It feels like the devil's advocate for like how the doctors are like getting like, they're like, oh, well,
exactly.
We can't listen to the mother in every instance because crazy people like Dee Dee over here.
Exactly. So it's very interesting. So after all of these diagnoses that she claims Gypsy had, it turns out the only proper diagnosis that they ever got at any one of these hospitals was somebody said, Dee Dee has Munchausen by proxy. And then Dee Dee stormed out, flipped out, took her daughter, just never went back to that hospital.
Wow.
But that's the only like formal one that they ever got. And it's crazy. It's insane.
Okay. So I'm feeling real bad for Gypsy at this stage.
Yes. So there's also more things. So she was subjected to some crazy ass surgeries, including removing her salivatory glands.
Huh? Like for saliva?
Yeah.
Like spit?
I don't know why. And then also,
oh my God, this poor kid.
Due to the heavy medications, like this, unbelievable amount of medications. When they went into the house after the murder, there was like an entire closet. It would be like if this closet was just filled to the brim with medications, like insane, like seizure medications, all this crazy shit. So due to the heavy medications, her teeth rotted to the point of removal. Also probably neglect, like not brushing. I don't know what the fuck.
I'm sorry, where's CPS? None of these hospitals were like, the girl's teeth are fucking rotting out.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. So I know there's a murder coming up. Starting to
see why. Totally. If you see like some of the images too, I highly recommend watching some documentaries about this if you're into this kind of thing. But it's like towards the end, you're like, kill her.
Yeah, get her.
There's also a very good scripted series called The Act. About this story, and it's I think some of it might be like a little bit
dramatized for a TV show,
but it's very good. Yeah.
I love how Hurricane Katrina was like a player.
I know.
They're like, like Hurricane Katrina, so here's a whole boatload of medication.
I know. So when they moved to Missouri in 2008, so at this point she's about 16, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hilarious because they're receiving like a ton of support and attention from the community, because they move into that Habitat for Humanity house, so everyone's like, who's this new family, they need help, the daughter's disabled, she's in a wheelchair, what a lovely mom, blah blah blah, and people are like giving them money, giving them media attention. They got free trips to Disney World, which is
Gypsy's there with a fucking feeding tube, just going on the coasters,
having her mom hold her hand the entire time, being like, shut up, don't tell anybody. It's fucking freaky, dude.
That is weird.
I mean, the control is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And by the way, the entire time, because I was kind of thinking, I was like, what about her dad? What's going on here?
Yeah. Does he just like have zero custody or?
So he did have visitations, but the only visitations he ever had were also with Dee Dee present.
Why?
Because she didn't want him to know the truth. She didn't want Gypsy to tell him.
And then the divorce
anything.
that just like did he have like a bad track record, or why did the courts give him such little time?
It was
with a
like,
kid?
that I actually don't know, but
because that's unusual.
I just think like she insisted on being there. I don't think it was like a court mandated thing.
Oh, okay, but she just like wouldn't leave, and he was like, all right, fine, whatever.
Because she's got a lot to fucking hide. That's
wow.
for sure.
And I guess also if like she's saying, the kid's sick, so I can't leave. It's
right.
If he has no reason to be like, the kid's not sick. But he was he aware of the poison situation?
He was. So I'm like,
this guy has some explaining to do.
He's got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like clearly this person's mentally unwell.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your kid, no.
Right. I mean,
Colin, well, clearly the people here were, there was a lot of negligence on a lot of different fronts. Medical, mostly the doctors. I actually like they're getting paid. They're going through exams to get licenses to not do this kind of shit.
I mean, what the fuck? I really don't understand. So they go to Walt Disney World. There's photos of them enjoying that, I guess. And then they also got backstage passes to Miranda Lambert concerts. So random.
Imagine Miranda gets off stage and she's just like, what the fuck is this?
Well, apparently...
This poor little kid, I guess.
Miranda Lambert gave her a check for $3,500 out of a personal account for which is really sweet.
Oh, God.
I know.
Business. She got scammed.
I know. Wasn't she married to Blake Shelton?
I believe so. I know Miranda Lambert, but I can't put a name on any of her songs right now.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also Adam Lambert. No relation.
I do have a positive connotation towards her, though, right? I think we like Miranda Lambert.
I don't really listen to country music, so I don't know. But
all right.
Anyway, Miranda Lambert's in the mix. That's all I know.
Some of her money's in the mix.
She must be like, what the fuck?
She's getting like Google alerts for her like media articles. She's like, I keep getting mixed up with this freaking Dee Dee. I won $3,500 check.
I know.
Never again.
Truly. So, how the fuck was Dee Dee making money? How was she supporting herself? This is where the business part comes in this podcast. So Rod Blanchard, the ex-husband that's in some hot water by us, he said that he paid $1,200 in child support every month until Gypsy turned 18. So there was that. And she also received, like I said, government support, food stamps, disability checks, Social Security. because she said that she couldn't work because she had to take care of Gypsy. So, also,
this is tough because people like talk about like all of these programs. I guess there's always going to be someone scamming any of these programs,
right?
But this is tough that this one's getting so much media attention because I'm like, oh, I know a lot of people get like a lot of really great benefits from these, but they make it sound terrible,
right?
And like a way to use
coast
it
through life and
not
abuse
even
a system,
abuse people in order to take advantage of these systems.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's rough.
So beyond all of those things, she also found ways to raise money. She would set up movies and concession stands at her house and charge people to come specifically to raise money for Gypsy's care, but none of it was going towards Gypsy's care, like I said before. So
she's like, look at this new amazing TV that I got.
I know.
We need to raise this money for Gypsy to get Band-Aids.
So look at this fucking photo of Gypsy. She's got she has a shaved head. She has a gajillion Band-Aids all over her fucking head.
Yeah, she's connected.
Tubes everywhere.
She's got like all of the electrode like little sticky things that connect to the wires to connect to some machine that's like, I guess, scanning her brain. And she's holding a monkey that has wires on it too to probably make her feel better.
And you have to realize as well, like, so Dee Dee's claiming that she has the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. After all the trauma, I don't know.
I'm sure she probably was a little stunted, but
she was a little stunted, but like she's a normal person. She's our age now, and you should see her in interviews. Like she's pretty normal.
Yeah,
which is
all things considered.
All things considered. I mean, I'm sure she's got
therapy.
A lot to unpack.
Yes.
But
talk to a professional girl.
Yeah, but like mentally, she is of sound mind.
Can you imagine being her therapist?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I would be like, I need a little help in here.
Yeah.
I need to bring in some reinforcements, dude.
How do you convince this girl to trust someone ever going forward?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
She'd have really good comebacks for any of the arguments. She'd be like, well, my mom put me on a feeding tube for months and years and years and years of my life.
Crazy.
Yeah.
She would also do she would have to put her on like a breathing tube to go to bed. But Gypsy says she's like, it made my breathing worse because I could breathe fine.
That's insane.
It's fucking insane.
That poor thing. I wonder, did she ever like try to convince her mom otherwise? Or like, did she talk about that?
So I'll get into a little bit of this.
Clearly there's an altercation at some point. So.
There is an altercation at some point. So she actually met a guy. She really liked like sci-fi. Mm-hmm. What do you call those? Like Comic-Con things. Or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
And she met this friend, she says, but Dee Dee thought it was like a romantic thing at one of the Comic-Con places, and she tried to escape once before the murder. This is from a different guy. Mm-hmm. So she tried to escape once, and then Dee Dee tracked her down and brought her back home and started smashing her computer, smashed her phone with a hammer.
Okay, because that was going to be another one of my questions, is if she's at our age, she had those... unless she was not like allowed on the internet at all.
I mean, her mother controlled everything. They had a joint Facebook account. Everything was joint. You know what I mean? So like, because her mom is hiding this insane secret that she's torturing her child.
Right.
And basically Gypsy had some plan with this man that she met at the sci-fi extravaganza or whatever. And she got tracked down, and her mother was like, and she said to her in the documentary, Gypsy talks about this. She said, after she smashed my computer and smashed my phone, she said to me, next time you try to do that, I'll smash your fingers.
Oh my God.
Her own mom.
Wow.
I know.
Oh God. Okay. So Gypsy's really feeling, and I guess she has no one else to really turn towards.
No. I mean, she's fucked.
Yeah, that's insane.
She's absolutely fucked.
Oh my gosh.
She actually says later on that when she was in prison, she was like, I felt so free.
Oh God.
I know.
She's like, this is pretty nice.
It's also crazy to think about. Like, this is this woman who has lived this life that hopefully no one else can at all relate to. And she's just in prison with women that were like drug trafficking heroin across borders and shit.
She's there with criminals. They're like, what are you in for?
Yeah. And she's like, I was on a breathing tube for a long time and I had to murder my mom over it.
I wonder if the inmates were like nice to her. I feel like they would feel bad.
You know what? I've seen, after like seeing interviews with her, I'm like, it feels like there wasn't a ton of prison trauma, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess how do you one up the kind of trauma she already went through? She's like, okay, one of the girls like hit me once, whatever.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whatever. Like,
pretty fucking crazy. Also to be noted, before we move on to the murder part, for doctor's visits, she was not allowed to speak to the doctor because Dee Dee was like, she is slow. She's only 7 years old. Don't listen to anything she says. So if like she was like, I can walk, they would be like, oh, she's like lying to us or whatever the fuck. And so Dee Dee was the only person who would relay information about her fake medical conditions.
I'm really hoping they've changed some. I'm assuming that there's adjustments in the systems since then.
Yeah.
Because this was a while ago, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe like 15, 20 years ago. Because aren't they supposed to like talk to the kids individually now to like make sure that there's a chance for them to engage?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
I don't know. Feels
You
like
would think that because I know that like for women when they're pregnant and stuff, then if like the guy comes in for a doctor's appointment, they'll like give the woman be like, okay, can you fill this out? And it'll be like, are you here like against your will?
Yeah.
Is he hurting you at home? And like whatever.
Yeah. There's got to be a similar thing for kids too.
Yeah. Fucking nuts.
That's
Oh
crazy.
my God. Okay, so Gypsy has been subjected to this insane torture her entire life. Cannot stress that enough. Fucking horrible all around, upside down, every which way. So let's get into the murder.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for Dee Dee to be murdered?
I'm like kind of wondering about my own morality that I'm like, let's fucking kill her. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Gypsy. What was she supposed to? Okay. Go ahead.
So, it's actually kind of like creepy and weird, but a lot of the documentaries will be like, there's one thing that Dee Dee didn't take into account: teenage sexuality. I'm like, all right. But basically, fucking Gypsy was horny, okay? She was getting a little boy crazy.
She's gone through puberty. Yeah. Listen, kids do weird shit in order to get laid.
Yeah, totally.
Not kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of age, young adults.
Right. So it's like having a cat in heat. Like it will escape the house.
Yes, exactly.
It will get out of the house.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So in 2014, so if she's born 1991, so she's what? How old is she then?
91? She's 32. That's my age. I
No,
was born in 91.
Yeah, but I'm saying it in
Oh, in 2014. That's 10 years ago. So she was 21?
21. Okay.
Yeah, 22, sorry.
I'm slow. I have a
23.
math ability of a 7-year-old.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
Wait, it's 2014?
Yeah.
Okay, 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's 23. And she is like obviously a little stunted. She's been literally babied her entire fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in her life, she's obsessed with Disney fairy tales and dressing up like Cinderella. She's looking for a Prince Charming. She thinks she finds him on this Christian dating site.
Okay.
Obviously, Dee Dee's fucking Christian. It's like, dude, you are the worst person in the world. You think you're going to be at the pearly gates?
Yeah, no, Jesus would not like this.
No.
Jesus would say, what? Dude, that's fucked up.
So this guy's name is Nick Godejohn.
Okay.
And they fall fast, they fall hard. And they're just chatting online while Dee Dee's asleep.
Okay.
Somehow she gets onto some like incognito window and is chatting with this man. So
she's like an elite hacker at this point.
Yeah, true. I mean, you gotta be.
Yeah, she's like clearing the logs off the computer.
So she says, she's pretty upfront with him. She goes, I need to tell you something. I'm no model. I have a medical condition. I can't walk. I have a chair I can use. Is that an issue? And I know. And so he responds, he said, why would that be a problem? You are an angel in my eyes. It will never make any difference how I see you and feel how I see you from the inside out.
That's really sweet. I hope he's not also fucking scary.
Buckle your seatbelt, dude.
No.
Spoiler alert.
No.
So she starts gushing about her new boyfriend in messages to her friend, her next door neighbor, being like, he's so romantic. They're talking about their future. So she goes on to, the neighbor says to ABC News, she was talking about this new guy. She was in love with him. They met on this Christian dating site. They were already planning on naming children and that kind of crazy ass shit.
Okay.
Too. So let's get into Nick. Who is this fucking guy who finds this Cinderella dressing up wheelchair ridden woman?
Yeah, I guess at this point she's not a child. Yeah, she's 23.
And so let's talk about him a little bit. So he is a man from Wisconsin, and he had struggled hard with mental health issues.
Okay.
He was actually arrested the year prior for masturbating at McDonald's for 9 hours.
For 9 hours? Damn.
9 hours.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Did he take a
The
Viagra?
stamina. Holy hell.
And he also
like
had a concealed knife during that masturbation for some fucking reason. But he was watching porn in a booth, masturbating with a concealed knife. Yeah.
For some reason, when you first said it, I imagined like in his car outside the McDonald's.
No. In the McDonald's.
Those workers don't get paid enough.
No.
I swear to God, the shit that they have to deal with, fuck that. That happens one time at my job, I'm quitting.
I mean, what the fuck?
Absolutely not.
So like,
absolutely
they
not.
had to call the cops on him. They were like, "Can you
shit.
stop viciously masturbating in our booth?"
At what hour do you call the cops?
I would have called way earlier.
I think the second his dick gets pulled out, call the cops. But they were like, it's been 9 hours. I guess we should probably call.
Well, apparently it was inside of his pants, but still.
Oh, God.
It does make it a little better.
It does help a
inside.
little bit.
Yeah,
I guess out the gate, you're like, is he masturbating? I'm going to go back over and get some more fries for people.
It gets
Come back
so
and you're like, I think
worse.
he's still there. Oh, no.
It gets so much worse. So Nick also, he suffered from multiple personality disorder as well. So he had a bunch of multiple personalities.
Those ones are like crazy.
Yeah. And he was also autistic. But
one of his people were.
Yeah. So one of his people were. And so he said to Gypsy, he was like, I want all of my personalities to have girlfriends. So she would make up these other personalities for him. Like one would be like a Star Wars vixen, and the next one would be like really like cute and innocent, and the next one would be whatever. And she would send him these like, you know, sexy photos or whatever.
Okay.
She would like dress up and wear different wigs and whatever, and send and like each one was a different girlfriend for his different personalities.
Okay, that's. I guess if you're gonna have that kind of an issue, it's kind of. I think I'm pro that. You know, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. There's not really a problem with it, I guess, but like, I guess they're making this working with disabilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, here he is. It's a nice mugshot of him.
School shooter.
He does.
He does.
So, according to former FBI agent Brad Garrett, he said that Nick was also sort of similar to Gypsy in that he functions about a 15 to 16-year-old level and didn't really have any normal social interactions.
Was he like abused as a kid, or was like this just the way he developed? Like,
I think it was just the way he developed. He was like severely autistic.
Okay.
A little slow.
Okay. Or if there is stuff in his past, we're just not aware necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Exactly. So he was also allegedly into BDSM, and Gypsy was like, I didn't like it, but I went along with it because he was the only person in my life.
Yeah. And I guess this BDSM, like, you know, across the country, like what does that even mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
Here's me with like a whip next to me. Okay, bye.
Right.
Got to go to bed now.
Oy. So Gypsy, oh wait. Well, she says she was 18 and he was 24. I don't know.
Okay, whatever. So the dates are. So, she was a young adult.
Yeah, she was a young adult. There was a time that she tried to introduce him to her mother, and the plan was.
Was this in person?
In person, but he's in Wisconsin.
So he had traveled down or something. Yes. Okay.
And so the plan was that they would all go and see the same movie, and then they would run into each other and be like, "Oh, hey, wow, hi. Oh, you seem like a nice man. Let's talk," or whatever.
Okay.
And they went to go see some like Cinderella movie or something like wicked fucking
Disney, like
a place that no 24-year-old man would go alone. Okay.
Right.
And
I see where we're going with this.
So it was just them in the movie theater, and the mom was like, "This guy's a fucking freak."
Of course.
And like, yeah, and like,
and if Dee Dee is calling you a freak, that's concerning. You need to reevaluate your life choices.
Gypsy later on says in an interview, she's like, "My mom had a point." That is like very weird now looking back at it. But she's like, in my mind, I was like, I like these kind of movies. My mom thinks I like these kind of movies. So like, that's the movie that we'll both buy tickets to. At one point, Gypsy goes to the bathroom and meets Nick outside, and they have sex in the bathroom while the mother is in the movie. And then they get out, go back to the movie, and then the mom figured out something was going on. And she starts freaking out, and she's like, "That guy's a fucking creep. If you know him, You can't be around him. You have to stay away from him.
Did Gypsy lose her virginity at this point, or had they had sex previously?
I think she lost her virginity then. In the bathroom at the movie theater.
Oh my God.
Like I said, cat and heat, they will find a way.
Damn, good for her. Creative. She's like, I'm going to make him seem like a child predator and then have sex with him.
Oy, it's so bad.
So now her mom is pissed. What happened?
So the mom and daughter go on to argue for the next couple of weeks, which included Dee Dee saying, like, you know, you're a bitch, you're a slut, you're a whore, all this kind of stuff.
So Gypsy kind of revealed that she liked this guy and like wanted to spend time with him. And
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the truth kind of comes out a little bit.
A little bit, but I think Dee Dee knows that guy wasn't just some random guy. I think she knows that Gypsy invited him there. And I don't know that she knows that they had sex in the bathroom, but she doesn't like that Gypsy is having some sort of outlet and obviously someone that she can tell what's really going on.
Right.
So she's trying to control this situation, and her and Gypsy and Nick had a little bit talked about, like, you know, how do we get out of this situation? Is there a way that we can get your mom out of here? And, you know, as young idiots do, like, literally it's in writing being like, maybe we should kill her. Genuinely.
Oh, no.
So
they're not experienced. Like, they haven't seen true crime.
God. Yeah,
I
mean,
know
it's
the fucking rules.
Crazy. So they divide this little plan that they are going to go through with it. So he's going to drive down from Wisconsin or bus down from Wisconsin and murder her mother and take her away. So that's the plan.
Why don't, here, I'm going to offer another solution. You're of age. You can leave.
I know, but like, I mean.
Do you know what I mean?
The mental suffering and like.
I guess that was just like the claw that she had in her at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're over 18. Like, why don't you just get in Nick's car and then like disappear?
I agree. I just don't know
that they had that.
I don't know that they
for some reason that wasn't in there.
For some reason. I mean, they're both not well at this point.
For sure.
Like,
okay.
So yeah, I'm not making excuses. I agree with you. Obviously,
feels like the easier choice between the two is like just let's
just like
let's
get
go.
Them out of here.
Yeah,
like whip out of here.
What are you fucking doing? Yeah,
I don't really fucking know.
You're of age. Like, it's not like the courts are gonna look for you or something like that. You're over 18.
Crazy. So she goes on to say, she's like, I didn't hate her. I just wanted to escape her. So he travels down to Wisconsin to kill Dee Dee. So this next part is very, very graphic. Trigger warning.
Yes. If you don't.
No, like extremely, like truly.
Oh, really?
Oh my God.
Trigger warning for me. What if I was like, no,
skip it. Skip it. So on the day of the murder, Gypsy texted Nick, and I quote, "The bitch gonna go down tonight, just the gloves and the knife, ? Nick responded, duct tape too, to muffle her. Gypsy said, don't worry about it. I'll pre-cut the tape.
Oh my God.
I know.
You know what? I think she kind of wanted to kill her son. Like, I mean, beyond like, obviously she did in this instance, but like, she probably did think about being able to just escape. And I'm sure she wanted revenge, which is insane.
Yeah.
But is it insane? Like, you shouldn't kill people ever, but I can kind of understand where she's coming from in this one. She was very angry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God.
There's other better ways to get through this, but I don't think they were going to see a family counselor anytime soon.
Yeah. So anyway, Gypsy was terrified, but she went through with it. He came to the front door. She gave him the duct tape and the knife. And then Nick went into Dee Dee's room and fucking murdered her. Gypsy said that she was just like in the bathtub in the fetal position, like freaking out the whole time.
Of course.
And she could hear her mom scream and call out her name a few times. And then
oh God,
everything went quiet. So it gets so much worse. So after Dee Dee is dead, she's in the bed dead. There was, by the way, it was like way overkill. He stabbed her way more than he needed to murder her. The couple then had sex.
Oh my God.
On Gypsy's bed. And he said, I want to have sex with your mother. Can I have sex with your mother's corpse? And Gypsy said, no, you can have sex with me though. And then Gypsy claims that he raped her as opposed to raping the corpse.
Okay. That's something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess yeah. Okay, this guy, he's in jail still, right? Or dead or something?
He's in jail still.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Like, that guy needs to get off. Gypsy probably should go back to jail. Wait,
yeah.
what?
Well, there's video footage of them too. Like, so now they're on the lam and they're getting, they're running away. And there's video footage of them in some hotel room or something later on. And she's like giggling with him and being like, he's eating this and later on he's going to eat me. And they're like, and I'm like, whoa, this is the guy who allegedly just raped you. And I mean,
Oh my God.
yeah, it's
these
genuinely
are really
horrible.
disturbed people. Like, this is a whole world I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Yeah. I can't even fathom a tenth of this.
No. So before they left her house, they sealed the murder weapon and $4,000 they stole from Dee Dee in an envelope, and then they mailed it to Nick's house in Wisconsin via USPS. So they're waiting. They're going to go to his parents' house and then get all of that money when they arrive there.
Okay.
And Gypsy goes, I honestly didn't think that we were going to get caught. Are you fucking serious?
Oh, Gypsy, you idiot.
So, the Facebook account, the shared Facebook account that Gypsy had with Dee Dee starts posting these cryptic, insane statuses. And so everyone in the community is like, what the fuck?
Also, Gypsy, do you really need to like be informing the followers?
No. So
Maybe go offline. Maybe it's time for a little internet break after you murder. Oh
little internet class.
Why does the sex make it so much worse?
It makes it so much
It makes
worse.
it really moves it into a like horror. I mean, it's a horror movie before. And oh my God.
I know.
This is fucked up.
Fucked up. So the posts on this thing, it's like Dee Dee and Gypsy. That's the name of the Facebook. It says, the bitch is dead. First post, June 14th, 2015. And then so a bunch of people were like, hey, have you been hacked? What the fuck is going on here? The second status update.
By the weirdest hacker ever.
The second status update said, I fucking slashed that fat pig and raped her sweet innocent daughter. Her scream was so fucking loud. LOL.
Okay, Nick is a criminal. I'm assuming that's him posting this.
Either one.
I mean, he's obviously a criminal, but like, I think he's like he's like a psychopath.
I think the police verified that some of these were Gypsy as well, which is really fucked up. But I mean, it's both are. I mean, the whole thing is.
Yeah, I mean this is one of the most unhinged stories I've ever heard.
Totally.
Oh my God.
So a family friend was like, I'm going to call the police because this is like really weird. So they.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So they call a wellness check and Dee Dee's body was found.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So everyone's freaking out because they're like, where the fuck is Gypsy? They thought that like their initial thought is that Gypsy got taken.
Yeah, of course, which kind of did.
Right. Exactly. And then so Gypsy was on her way to Wisconsin at this point, and she was with a taxi driver who transported the couple. And the ABC News, and this taxi driver was interviewed by ABC News, and she said that she picked up Gypsy wearing an old-looking Cher wig, and she said she had a pretty big attitude, which is really
feeling
funny.
all high and mighty at this point.
I guess so. How fucking crazy is that?
That I mean, these people they've completely lost it.
They really have.
Completely lost it.
So at some point,
yeah, where's the dad in all this too?
I think the dad is just thinking that
does he see not the Facebook status and was like, I should call them.
I don't fucking know.
I should go give her a ring.
I mean, it is crazy. Also, so they made it to Wisconsin. Okay, so they made it all the way to Wisconsin, and then they stayed a few days at his parents' house, and they didn't think anything of it. They were just like, oh, she was like pretty normal. It's like, pretty normal? What the fuck?
Oh my God. That is crazy.
Yeah, and they just like had dinner together, all this shit, and they had and like the mom was saying, she was like, oh, Gypsy, like, how is your mother? Like, I've heard a lot about her or whatever. Yeah. And Gypsy was like, oh, she's good. How fucking freaky. And then the mom now finds out that a murder weapon was sent to her fucking house.
Yeah, she gets a package and she's like, I didn't order anything from Amazon.
Yeah. I didn't order a knife, a bloody knife and $4,000. That's so weird.
So weird. They must have mixed up our packages.
Mm-hmm. So pretty crazy. So basically, like, long story short, the police come and they find her there. So now at this point, she's in police custody. I don't know how they found her there, but maybe it's like tracking of the cell phones or something like that. Or tracking of the fucking murder weapon being sent there. Whatever.
It sounds, there sounds like they weren't exactly being like,
Yeah.
expert disappearers after.
Yeah, so she calls her dad, and she's like, oh, the stuff they're saying on the news is horrible. It's not true. You know how much I love Mom. And she's speaking this creepy baby voice. And she's like, I would never hurt her. I'm innocent. I'm still your little girl, to the dad. And the dad was like, I could not believe it. Like, I saw her on TV and she was walking, and he was like, I've never seen this before.
Oh my God.
He had no idea that she could walk. So he's like, I rewound
That
it
was what
later.
shocked him.
Yeah, I know,
This bitch
right?
can walk.
He goes,
What about the brutal murder of her mother?
yeah, he goes, I was happy she was walking. Yeah.
So focused.
But big red flags. No kidding. He goes, I felt so stupid. No shit. If she could walk, what else have I been lied to about? And then basically he was saying like there was over 100 doctors that had been deceived. And then this sheriff was like, we have unearthed the appearance of a long financial fraud scheme with like insurance. And all this crazy shit.
I mean, also a murder. I don't think anyone's really focusing on the big area here. Is there was a guy who viciously murdered a woman.
Yeah.
And he's loose.
Yeah. So
like there's other problems too. Right. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of the list,
right.
It seems like number one right now is man stabbed this lady a lot and is now walking around. No,
he's in police custody.
Oh, he is? Okay, good. Okay, then I guess handle the other stuff. Okay, like check, and then on the to-do list.
So the investigators go, they search their home, Gypsy and Dee's home, and they're shocked at what they find. They were like, this case had by far the most discovery that I've ever had, meaning like pieces of evidence.
Yeah, okay.
And they were like, there was close to 100 CDs worth of papers, photos, digital information, crazy shit. They said that the house was a fucking disaster, and they were like, Dee Dee had a lot of hoarding,
right,
and like just stuff piled up in every single room.
Oh my gosh.
Gross. And then I described the closet already. They were like, holy shit, my mouth dropped. There was just so many medications.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty crazy. So the linen closet was filled with prescriptions, and a lot of them were filled illegally because she had stolen prescription pads. So that's another.
Wow, that's a big time crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I mean, they're all big time crimes. Also, this lady's dead, so like, whatever.
I mean, fucking model.
Wow.
Pretty insane. So Nick was sentenced to life in prison.
Okay.
For first-degree murder.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
good.
Yeah. He totally took the blame.
He sounds really dangerous, actually.
But he did say, I mean, he definitely is really dangerous, but he did say, he was like, I would have never done this if it weren't for Gypsy. I did it for Gypsy. So
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to fucking hear it.
I mean,
get in jail. You're
like
scary. You're a scary person.
A true example of someone who, I mean, they need to be in some sort of facility somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That person is a threat to society.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Ugh.
Okay, so then Gypsy gets charged as well.
Gypsy gets charged also, but she got 10 years in prison for her role in the murder because she never actually murdered her mother. She just basically like hired a hitman.
Okay, so how's she out?
Because
good behavior.
You're
like, but she always cleaned up her tray at the cafeteria, so
she's out. She got out. So she was released about a month ago. And
so I guess she ended up serving like 5 or so years, and is she on like parole or something for the remainder?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
She's been posting a lot of like outfit of the days. She's been making the rounds. Maybe she'll be on this podcast.
I heard, wasn't she on like RuPaul?
Yeah.
Like
it's crazy.
I also saw that she got in trouble with her parole officer for leaving the state?
Oh yeah, because she was trying to go to a Taylor Swift concert. She's like living her damn life.
She's trying. Yeah, she's doing her best. She sounds that's relatively normal,
and
I guess.
she also has a husband now too.
What?
Yeah, this is her husband.
Oh so my God.
Anyone who's waiting for someone to propose, just know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has a husband and you don't.
Yeah, like really. So, I don't know. I mean, he's not like a model by any means. She actually looks good in that picture.
Yeah, she does. I mean, she's thriving. She has a full head of hair.
She has,
because she never had to shave her fucking head in the first place.
Wow. I feel like this is not the end of her story.
No.
I feel like things are going to continue.
Well,
I hope maybe she has like a really big redemption arc or something.
I hope so too. I did see like, I don't know. It's all speculation, but I did see like at the end of one of the documentaries, a doctor did say like they saw some sociopathic stuff in her.
I would.
At the end of the day, she is the daughter of this woman.
Yeah.
So like, there might be, I don't know, but he was like, I wouldn't, be careful.
Talk about the fucking balls on this boyfriend
I
or
know.
this husband. How he looked at that situation and was like, you know what that needs? Me. I got to get in there and legally bind myself to this woman.
I know.
That is crazy.
It's insane.
How did they meet? Do we know?
They met when she was in prison. Must be like one of those like dating app things from prison.
Man, men are horny.
Men are horny.
They're like...
They really are.
Oh my gosh.
Men will fuck a corpse, literally.
Genuinely. I guess if they already met in prison, he was like ready. He was like, whatever, like you're good. My thing is ladies who've done things that go to jail for.
That's definitely
That's
a genre, by the way.
It's a kink.
So
that's a real kink right there. That's like you care.
Yeah. Can you fucking believe that shit?
No, no. It doesn't sound real.
No.
It's one of those stories that's so crazy that I can't fathom that happened.
Yeah.
While I was on this earth.
If that was just a Lifetime movie and you watched that, you'd be like, okay, this Lifetime needs to chill.
Yeah.
He wants to fuck the mom. Like, this is ridiculous.
Cool it. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I know.
No wonder this story, got so big. Wow.
Yeah.
So what's her fucking plan then? Beyond, is she going to be an influencer?
Probably. I mean, I don't know, but maybe.
Well, maybe she'll do the pod. Gypsy, if you're listening, please don't kill us. But also, will you do the pod?
Holy shit. Crazy.
That's crazy. Great job. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was a
wild ride,
right?
Very
Pretty traumatic.
insane.
I'm going to think about that.
I know. How crazy that she's our age too.
Yeah.
Which somehow makes it stranger.
It sure does. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I definitely think there was enough ties in there to business. There was a lot of fraud in there.
Yeah.
Fraud is business. So I don't know what we'll do next week, but we hope you have enjoyed the episode, and please give us 5 stars if you don't mind.
Like, subscribe, 5 stars. Follow me at Mae_Planert.
And me at Laura Sogar, and the pod at Risque Business News. And we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.